Shaitan here, bringing you another one of Millennium Stephano's games, this time from the ESWC 2011 semifinals between the Pink Ranger, Millennium Stephano, the Zerg player spawning in the upper right location of Antiga Shipyards, and the current heir to the Kong line, I suppose, MarineKing Prime spawning as the yellow Terran in the lower left-hand corner of the map. Now, ZvT and PvZ, respectively, are the strongest matchups, at least statistically, for Stephano and MarineKing Prime, both of them boasting about 70% win rates in this matchup. So we'll see what they decide to do, how they decide to go about doing so. We do see a fairly early scout from Stephano. I guess he just doesn't want to get 2-racks or proxy 2-racks. It's always a concern with MarineKing. He really is one of the players that is able to do the 2-racks build very, very strongly, as he demonstrated quite a few times in his series against Nesty and the GSL Season 2 finals. But we'll see what really is going to happen in this game. It doesn't look like MarineKing's going for an 11-11 or axe. It shouldn't be anything too aggressive. The barracks should be going down right about now, and we'll see what happens. I'd expect MarineKing to probably open up with the Reactor Hellions and then expand behind it. It's very popular right now. Actually, it looks like MarineKing is going to be going for a command center first. He's up to 300 resources right now. And the fact that this drone is here means that Stephano is going to have a leg up right now, as MarineKing is going to be forced to pull another SCV off of the line so that he can get down this command center without the drone just simply harassing the SCV to death. And we can see this drone is already doing significant damage. MarineKing is skyrocketed up to 470, 480 minerals, and now he finally gets down the command center. It's not really that big of a deal. He can drop down his barracks now a little bit faster. It looks like it should be going down right here. And we see that Stephano has dropped down his hatchery, and because his opponent won command center first, he's continuing to drone up. He's actually up to 17 drones right now before he drops that spawning pool. He's going to be very, very safe. He knows that with this command center first opening, MarineKing isn't going to have any sort of barracks anytime soon, really. We see MarineKing adding on a second barracks, and you really want to be able to get out a bunch of units after a command center first build, because if the Zerg player so decides, they can do a very, very effective either roachling or ling bling bust up into your natural, just because you simply won't have the units to defend against it. Your upgrades will be fine, you don't have stim, so you're going to be relying a lot on Marine Micro, which MarineKing is going to be the king, but or stationary defense such as bunkers. So we'll really see if Stephano decides to go for that opening, that timing, or if he just decides to macro up. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a longer macro game. Stephano actually getting his third base very, very quickly, reminiscent almost of a ZvP. We do see that he has gotten gas, so that's going to stunt his economic development a little bit. He's at 16 drones versus the 18 SCVs of MarineKing, but that should quickly be increasing fairly soon. Now, MarineKing is not aware of this third base. We'll follow this SCV to see if he actually decides to go and scout it. I would be surprised, actually, if he didn't. He should be very cognizant of the fact that his opponent is aware of the fact that he is getting a early command center, and there needs to be some type of economic follow-up. He went and scouted the main, so he knew that there was no very, very early ling bling pressure, but the next logical follow-up would be to go for the quick third, and we see that MarineKing still doesn't know about it. I'm a little bit surprised by this. But on MarineKing's side of things, we see that he's going up to 4 barracks and then getting his double refinery. He is playing very, very safe, relying on his micro, or will be relying on his micro, to defend him against any sort of aggression from the Zerg player. And this scouting SCV is going to go down without scouting this third base from Stephano. Again, I'm a little bit surprised by this. We do see that Stephano has taken the slight harvester lead now, 27-24, but supplies are even. And Stephano's economy should be skyrocketing soon. He's pulled guys off of gas. That's the right decision. You want to just get the drone count up as high as you can, and then go from there. We do see that MarineKing is getting double tech labs, so we're going to be seeing command, combat shields, and stim coming out very, very shortly. And meanwhile, MarineKing is also just droning up. Now we see the first deviation. Stephano has built 20 lings right now, so that'll put him up to 20 lings. Actually, he hasn't made any lings until then, against the 10 or 9, this is why, sorry, there was a Marine push at Stephano's natural that gets cleaned up very, very easily. We don't see any harvesters lost for Stephano other than the initial scouting lane. My bad for missing that. But Stephano is going to go for a little bit of a push with 13 lings and see what sort of damage he can do, but I think he knows that he's not going to be able to do anything. He should pull back. There's 6 Marines right now. They're being produced 2 at a time with 2 Marauders. I'm kind of surprised. I guess he's worried about the bling bust. And Stephano should be able to take out all of these SCVs, or at least do significant damage to them, and then get out. It looks like they're dancing around the middle right here, but MarineKing is going to be able to corner them. In terms of harvesters killed, wow, Stephano has killed 5 harvesters now, and I misspoke the 1 kill earlier that I had mentioned. MarineKing actually hasn't killed a single drone from Stephano, so really impressive play from him, and we see that he's taken his drone lead up another notch. He's up to 48 drones versus the 33 SCVs of his opponent, but he is only on hatchery tech. He hasn't begun researching his lair. He has begun mining again from 2 gases with a 3rd and 4th on the way. So we'll see. I would expect to see a lair from him very, very soon. And there it goes at the main. Because this is going to give MarineKing a bit of a timing. His stim is going to finish in about 70 seconds. He has a very, very strong bio ball. He's going to have combat shields as well. And if he so wanted to, he could go in and do, I think, a fair amount of damage to Stephano's army, because all he's going to have are lings to defend and soon roaches, which would be effective, except MarineKing is making Marauders as well. And really, you want to have banelings with speed to defend against this, and there's not even a baneling nest being made right now by Stephano, which is a bit of a deviation from the normal Ling Bling Mutus, or Ling Bling into Ling Bling Mutus style that's really defining the TVZ metagame right now. We'll see what Stephano decides to go for once this lair pops. He's still, now he's up to 5 gas, just recently getting this 5th gas. So he might be going for Mutalisks. They will be hitting a little bit later, but regardless, we do see MarineKing actually pushing out right now with a very sizable army. He has stim, he has combat shields, +1/+1 is on the way, but it won't finish. And we'll see Stephano just goes in for it. I think that's a bit of a mistake. MarineKing really didn't even need to micro there. He's just going to be able to take out everything. A little bit of stutter step going on just to prevent the melee units from actually hitting, but MarineKing looking in a really great situation. Stephano does have 20 lings popping out, and I think that's going to drive MarineKing away, but he should just kind of get out of here right now. He hasn't done any sort of economic damage, direct economic damage to Stephano, just indirect, and you can really see that where MarineKing is at 70 supplies, Stephano's at 90, and this army has sort of overstimmed. They're very, very low on health, and so they're going to be able to be cleaned up by this last ling force from Stephano quite easily. Stephano, meanwhile, is getting pathogen glands for his infestors, so he's chosen what sort of mid-game tactic he wants to go for. And we see right now that MarineKing really doesn't have much of an army to his name, only the 6 Marines. But the thing is with only roaches and lings, Stephano is not really going to be able to break through this. If he had banelings, he'd probably be able to bust through and do damage with a counterattack, but we don't see that happening. So MarineKing should feel fairly safe behind this wall. He won't be able to take this 3rd if Stephano is really on top of his scouting and aware of what's going on in the game. But we'll see what happens. There's 4 infestors now coming out from Stephano. I'd like to see him take a 3rd base. He's going to be up to about 70 drones to his opponent's 57, so a slight lead, a decent lead there actually. And we see double tank production coming out of MarineKing, but he hasn't begun researching the siege tech, so they're not really going to be all that useful. I heard about it was a bunker loading up, not a medevac, and we see here Stephano taking his gold base. He knows that he's fairly far ahead after holding off that push, so he's going to take his advantage and turn it into a bigger one. Now, MarineKing looks like he is going to be getting ready to take his 3rd base. The command center is moving out, and Stephano, meanwhile, is just amassing up a fairly strong army. He has +1 carapace, +1 melee attacks on the way, and he's actually getting a very, very early hive for this matchup. You really don't see hives at about the 12-13 minute mark, especially with the very late lair that Stephano has. So I think he feels confident in his advantage right now, to where he can sort of sacrifice a bit of those heavy gas units to get that very, very fast hive, and probably switch into Ultralist since he's getting the melee upgrades. But we'll see. Siege Tech has actually just started, so MarineKing is in a bit of a bind here. He's doing one of the very popular options to delay your opponent's attack. He is going for the drop. It looks like it will not hit any overlords on the way, but meanwhile we see this counterattack from Stephano going. A little bit of a mistake there from MarineKing not moving his units up there to get ready for it. This command center shouldn't die, it should be lifted. There are a bunch of infested Terrans being tossed down, but they're not really going to be able to kill it, I don't think. But we do see that Stephano has continued to kill more workers. He killed about 7 or 8 there. His opponent is still at 57 SCVs, so not too terrible for him. But MarineKing needs to move this command center back. He might lose it to the... Yeah, he's going to lose it to infested Terrans. Actually, a bit of a mistake there from him. He doesn't have anything repairing. No, is it going to live? It's at 60 health. I think he might live as long as he starts repairing it, but he doesn't have any SCVs. Okay, the SCVs are coming out. This command center should live. Yeah, it gets down to about 30 health before the SCVs are repairing it. But we see Stephano has built up a quite comfortable bank. He's up about 10 supply compared to his opponent. He's getting the Ultra Cavern, Adrenal Glands, and +2/+2. But, I mean, I think MarineKing is safe for the moment. He's not going to lose the game in the next minute or so, but unless he does some sort of damage, like there was a drop here. Where's the drop? Okay, there was a bit of a drop. It didn't look like it did too much damage. MarineKing wasn't able to kill any drones. He took out a bit of this spine crawler, so not really too much there for MarineKing. He was able to pull the forces back for a little bit, but the problem now is that MarineKing doesn't have all that good of an army to deal with Ultra Infestor Ling. He has a bunch of tanks, that's nice, but the problem is these Marines, which need to provide the buffer for the tanks, are going to be fungal growth so easily, and then they're just going to get killed by the Ultralists. We see that Stephano is moving around with his army in the middle of the map, picking off Marines as he can. He's not using any fungal growth, really smart of him. He's up to 6 Infestors now, and there's 5 Ultralists on the way. They will be +2/+2. Chitinous plating is on the way, so pretty soon they'll be +2/+4. And really, Stephano's in a commanding position right now. He's up 40 supplies, almost max, and he's building up his bank. And the only real criticism I'd have of Stephano is right now you are so far ahead. Build up that economy even more. Take another base or two. You want to make sure that right now you're 1 base above your opponent. That's good, right? But you want to make that advantage even larger, just in case your attack doesn't go well. You have an economy to fall back on. We do see that MarineKing is pushing out right now with about 170 food. Some Marines do get fungal, but they aren't able to die. He doesn't get the follow fungal that he needs to. And we'll see how this goes. Oh, he's actually going to catch MarineKing out of siege. So really only the siege tanks are just now deployed, and all of the Marines are going to die. The Ultralists are coming in and doing significant damage to the Marines that are left over. But Stephano doesn't have the fungals to take out all of these Marines. He gets most of them, but then just these few Marines that are left over are able to clean up most of Stephano's force. He's going to be able to take out a bunch of drones. No, it doesn't look like it. What is he doing, MarineKing? I think he looked like he was going to be targeting the Infestors, but he wasn't able to kill any of them with the Marines, but it looks like the tanks might be able to do the damage that needs to be done. He needs to be focus firing these Infestors. They're really the important units here, and he's going to actually be losing them. Stephano with a bit of a mistake. He has them on separate hotkeys. I'm kind of surprised that he was moving all of his units together like that, but without fungal growth, you can see that these Marines are able to just kite the Ultralist ad infinitum, and that's really going to be a very cost-ineffective attack for Stephano, but I don't think it matters. He's just so far ahead right now. If we look at the income, it's 2,300 versus 1,600. Stephano is about 15 harvesters ahead, but the problem is, again, Stephano hasn't expanded during all of this. He's still on those 4 bases. His main is about halfway mined out. His natural is doing alright, but really you want to take that 5th base just so you have a failsafe, because if Stephano attacks a few more times and MarineKing is able to trade efficiently, then with this 4th base that he's building into an orbital command, a little bit surprised there. I'd like to see a planetary fortress with the gold. But if MarineKing can hold off the attacks cost effectively, which he could do if he just sieged up with a bunch of tanks, maybe added some ghosts in the mix. He's going to have +3/+3 soon for his bio. But if he can just hold off a couple more attacks cost effectively, then Stephano is really not going to be able to remax as efficiently as he has been, just because his economy is slowly going to dry up. We see a drop here that is able to do a bit of damage. It looks like it killed 3 drones, and it's going to clean up these first round of Lings, but the second round should clean it up, so MarineKing should be getting out of here. It was a double drop. He's going to walk away with having lost about 3/4 of the Marines in that army. But like I was saying, if he can just and we finally do see a 5th base being taken by Stephano. That's what he needs to do. Otherwise, and a 6th base. This Marine is going to spot it though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see MarineKing doing some drop harass in the upper left corner, maybe pair it with a drop in the main to try and pick off a hatchery or the spawning force, something of that sort. But that's really what Stephano needs. Otherwise, if MarineKing keeps defending these pushes cost effectively, he's going to be able to eventually wear Stephano out. But Stephano, too smart for that, isn't going to allow that to happen. Nice scan from MarineKing. He sees exactly where the army is. There's not really that many infestors. There's only 2 of them. They have maybe 2 fungal growths each. 1 fungal goes down. These ultras are going to make quick work of them, it looks like. No, most of the Marines get away. Very nice engagement from MarineKing, splitting his Marines. He's going to be able to take out almost all of the Ultralists, I think. He should try and focus fire these infestors, and they both go down. These Ultralists might just be proved to be too much. There's still 6 of them left, I think, and they're going to be able to do significant damage to the army of MarineKing, but it looks like that they will... This isn't going to break MarineKing, basically. He's going to be able to maybe clean out a fair amount of the SCVs at this base, but MarineKing is going to be able to eventually take them out. He actually burrows them, a bit of a mistake there. MarineKing does scan, he gets a few free damage. There we go, and there's the beautiful fungal from Stephano. He's going to be able to take out all of these units, and I think this might be GG for MarineKing. His third is being taken down, the orbital gets taken out, all of these SCVs are going to be taken out. Meanwhile, Stephano has burst through the wall right here. The infestors are lobbing infested Terrans up there to take out the tanks, and although he's defending decently, the Ultralists and Lings that are swarming in from Stephano prove to be too much. Stephano takes game number 1 in this best of 3 series. GG.